So hi everyone, welcome to episode 221 of the Art of Business English podcast. And today we're actually going to do something which I don't often do, which is an interview. I mean, I do like to interview people who I think are interesting and can give my audience or you all some perspective on, learning English and their experience. And today we've actually got quite a young interviewee here or a young guest, should I say, on the podcast. So Arnau is one of my former students. I do at times teach people who are preparing for the advanced certificate in English or an advanced level of English. And Arnau was one of my former students. And I thought that his story was interesting because he is young, he's fairly ambitious, but just to enjoy life. And he's also got some entrepreneurial spirit. He's started drop shipping websites in the past to make money. And what I found really interesting about this was because I am 46 this year. This is we're recording this in the year of 2024. So basically, I'm 46 this year. I'm getting old, as they say. But Arnau is quite young. I think he's 23, so he's 20 years my junior. So what I found interesting was understanding the motivation and getting some insight from the younger generations, because they're changing a lot. Their priorities are changing. Their motivation is changing. So I loved the fact that we could talk really casually about how he uses his English, how it's helped him, but also how through just some fairly straightforward questions, nothing too deep and serious, I was able to understand what type of things motivate this younger generation of millennials. So without further ado, let's dive in and have a listen to the episode with Arnau Camprubi and myself, and I hope you enjoy it, and please feel free to send your feedback on your thoughts. It'd be a pleasure to hear from you. So that's it from me. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Okay, so welcome, Arnau, to the Art of Business English podcast. It is a real pleasure having you on. As you know, this podcast is about helping people with specifically their business English, so helping them become better at English so that they can be more effective at work. And today I just wanted to touch base with you because you are, in fact, one of my ex-students, still quite young. I mean, I'm 46 soon, you're 23, so quite a big difference. But I think today I would like to learn from you. So, and maybe share some of your experiences as a young... Are you a millennial now? Which is your generation? A millennial?
I'm from 2000.
The thousands? Okay, so I guess you're a millennial. So today's episode, as I mentioned in the introduction, is called How English Can Help Launch Your Career. So you've just started your career not that long ago. So I just wanted to basically... we don't do that many interviews on this podcast, but when we do, I like to dive in and go deep with my interviewer and interviewee. And basically, how about we start with a little bit of your background? What's your story? You're from a small city in Manresa, where we're both based. So over to you.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. I think the pleasure is mine, Andrew. To be honest,
Thanks,
you were one of my best teachers, and you helped me a lot with my English. And I'm talking seriously, so thank you.
Appreciate that. Now.
I live in a city near to Barcelona. It's called Manresa. And so my background was that I studied an engineering here in Barcelona, and it was about big data. So I was really lost at that time. I didn't know what to pick. What field should I go into? But finally, I decided to go into engineering because of the future it has. So there are a lot of paths you can follow, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of job opportunities in general. So I was not a big fan of engineering, but why not? I decided to give it a shot and try it. And here I am. So
Great.
I
Okay,
think
so
it was a good overall.
you finished a degree. How old were you when you started and finished?
Wow, I think I finished like 3 years ago, maybe 2 years, 3 years ago.
So when you were 20, back when you were 20.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
good. Yeah, because maybe some of my listeners have teenage kids and are thinking, what am I going to do with my teenage kids? So you studied engineering, but I mean, are you a fan of technology, but you're not a fan of engineering?
Yeah, I'm a fan of technology.
Yeah,
I've been using technology for all my life, but even like
yeah,
the Game Boy or the PS4, I was a
yeah,
gamer at my time.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I've been using technology on my daily day a lot.
yeah, yeah. You are the
And
first, yeah, you're the first digital generation.
yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, we were not born into digital. I'm half digital, half analog. Yeah, yeah. I had no
That's
internet
funny.
when I was born. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, like all millennials, no, you're one of the first digital generations. So you were born uh, into when the internet existed already and things like that, which wasn't my case at all. So you're a gamer as well. Love gaming. I mean, I was a gamer too when I was in my teens as well. I spent a lot of time. I mean, I had my first PC when I think I was about 13 or 14. It was like
Hmm.
a 180, a 286 or 386 or something like a very original where you had to type in commands and stuff. But yeah, so I started out as well. I've always been very involved and loved technology, but things have come a long way. So you studied big data, and
Hmm.
was that interesting? I mean, it doesn't sound very interesting, but I'm sure it is.
It's interesting, I think. It's about all kind of data in general because
Mm-hmm.
every business in the world generates data. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very like a big topic, and you can
Mm-hmm.
study everything. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in my university degree, they teach us a lot of stuff and a lot of topics, but not in big detail. So if you like details, like for example, I like programming or I like
Mm-hmm.
SQL. So these kind of topics, you can improve it by yourself, but they only give you like small,
Like
small,
overview.
yeah,
Yeah.
only an overview of these topics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like they give you a general idea of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like it more, you need to go there by yourself and start learning um,
Mm-hmm.
more
Okay,
about it.
that's interesting. So you are a bit of a self-starter. You've taught yourself a lot of programming.
Yes, I would say so.
What got you interested in programming? I mean, it sounds maybe other kids are like playing football. How old were you when you started to like get into programming and doing technological things like that?
Yeah, I was like maybe 18 years old.
Okay.
To be honest, it's not that interesting for me either, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really useful for companies. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are a lot of job opportunities related to that and high salaries, a lot of job opportunities in other countries as well. You can
Mm-hmm.
travel and see the world. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I like the most
Mm-hmm.
in life. So I said, why not? If this is important to companies, for me, it's something easy because it's not that complex. It's just straightforward. Then
Mm-hmm.
let's go. Let's go forward and let's try it.
Okay, fantastic. So your primary motivation was the opportunities. You're someone who looks out and seeks opportunities.
Yes, yes,
Good,
I think, yeah.
good, good. So do you think that's important nowadays for people your age? Or I mean, a lot of people, I guess, I mean, well, I guess we're all the same. When you're 17 or 18, you're not really sure what you want to do with your life. So for you, do you think it's a good idea to follow the market or follow your passion?
Kind of a mix, I would say. But
Hmm.
the most important thing is doing something you like. And that's
Hmm.
a thing that most successful people say. You need
Hmm.
to work in something you like. And
Hmm.
that's very important. So in my case, I didn't know a field that was interesting to me. So I couldn't pick one field when it came to choosing my university degree. So what did I do? So I just picked something I didn't don't like. So the thing I didn't dislike the most, that's what I pick. I don't know if
Okay.
I,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. You went with like the thing you hated least.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's it.
Okay, okay. So were you a good student? I mean, maybe some parents like my son or my daughter's a complete disaster.
Mhm.
Did you consider yourself a good student through high school and into university, or your studying came later?
So I was a really good student since my primary school and on
Hmm.
my high school as well. I really was a good student.
So you got good
But then
grades. Yeah.
at my university, my grades were low, to be honest.
Hmm.
But it's okay because I understood it's part of life, and you cannot always get an excellent mark.
Hmm.
Life is not about that. Life is about enjoying. And of course, in university, you will have some subjects you don't like,
Mm.
and some subjects you enjoy more. So
Hmm.
it's okay not having A's in all single exams you get. So it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
And in my high school, to be honest, I hate it a lot. History, for example,
Hmm.
politics, I hate it a lot.
Hmm.
Geography as well. So it's okay. I know a lot of kids can feel like they are lost because
Mm.
they can not pass, but how do you say when you don't pass an exam? You
Fail.
can you can fail an exam,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's completely okay. You can fail some subjects as well, and you will probably need to work and to study during summers, but it's part of life. You just need to feel comfortable with yourself and just find some topics you like and you want to learn more on your free
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, okay. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect. And
Hmm.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. Because a lot of, I mean, a lot of, I'm sure that a lot of parents are like, no, no, my child must be working exceptionally hard and getting A's, straight A's. Personally, I'm like of your mind of thought, no, like you should not fail, but you should. I mean, getting A's is not necessarily the objective. The objective is
Hmm.
learning to enjoy studying and learning to enjoy wanting to improve and wanting to learn new things. I think that's important. If you want to if you're interested in things, then you're going to have like a continuous mindset on a continual growth or continual learning mindset. But if you don't learn to be interested in things and you're only just
Hmm.
going for a grade, then you're not going to see the point maybe later in life. So
Hmm.
okay, so you were a great student at school. You enjoyed life a bit more at university, but you came away with your big data degree.
Hmm.
Great, nice. And for you, university was a great experience.
Mm. If it was a good experience, you're asking.
Yeah, yeah. How was it a great experience, university?
Well, on my third year of university or my second year, it came COVID. So
Ah, yeah.
then we had to work like one whole year from home, and it
Mm.
was kind of exhausting.
Yeah, what type of
So
impact did that have? Because like maybe we can learn a lot from your generation. What do you think was the impact of that on your generation?
it was a really bad impact, I would say, for me and for all students who were taking classes at that lessons at that time,
Hmm.
because we from all of a sudden we started using not ChatGPT, but we started copying from each other. It
Hmm.
was crazy. Like we did all the exams together as if it were like collaborative tasks.
Hmm.
It was something to be that it was supposed to be personal as an exam, but we started like doing it all together, and I stopped from learning things, to be honest. It was really, really, really bad. And I would say I'm not the only one student who copied during those times. So,
That's actually an interesting parallel to make because a lot of people didn't like working from home. They didn't like being isolated.
mhm,
They didn't like the experience. They thought that they didn't learn enough, or it was a waste of time, and they felt alone. Yet nowadays, your generation also wants to work from home and be left alone, and I don't want to come into the office, and
mhm.
don't make me come into the office more than one day a week because I don't want to come into the office. Uh, and I don't know. So, what do you think of that contrast now? Because I mean, what's your view on remote working now as you have a job?
Yeah, so good question. I think I love it. So I don't have the experience of going to the office and work there 5 days a week because
Hmm.
when I started, all the new so it was applied this new kind of working from home, like the
Yeah,
remote work and everything.
yeah.
So when I started immediately working from home, like only going to the office twice a week.
Mm.
And I think this is the good part of COVID, the new opportunities that bring to ourselves. And it's true that maybe we are the young people, we are more like comfortable we want to work from home. We don't want to do big efforts when it comes to work. But for me, it's really good because I can do my break and going to the gym during midday, for
Mm-hmm.
example. I
Mm-hmm.
can go and visit my grandparents who live 5 minutes away from me during
Mm-hmm.
my morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do a lot of things that I couldn't be able to do if I were at the office, person like working there in
Mm.
person.
So are you 100% remote, or you do go to the office?
I go to the office at least once a week to visit my
Mm-hmm.
team and to see how they are doing and talk to them at least to know how they are doing. Yeah.
Okay. And do you see the benefits of that?
Yes, of course. I think it's really important to see in person the persons you are talking to and you are working every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important not to lose this personal contact face to face.
But how many days for you would be uh, too many days in the office?
Too many days?
Yeah, too many days in the office.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah,
2 days a week,
maximum 2 days a week in the office.
or one. Yeah. For me,
One. Yeah,
more than
yeah.
2 days a week at the office, it's a waste of time.
Okay, that's interesting. But why would you say it's a waste of time?
I Okay, so when I go to the office, I see a lot of people and a lot of colleagues there, and I
Mm-hmm.
have the feeling that they are just trying to, you know, they just want the time to be at the 6 o'clock so they can leave,
Mm-hmm.
and they are
Yeah.
like doing nothing but waiting until it's time for them to go home.
Mm-hmm.
This is a feeling I don't like. If I go to the office and I arrive at 7 in the morning, maybe at 1 o'clock in the afternoon I'm done.
Okay.
And I don't like to feel the pressure of being there, doing nothing, or talking to this colleague, talking to the other, doing my coffee. It's a
Mm-hmm.
feeling I hate. When I go to the office is to be
Like hyper productive.
yes, productive. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I
So for
hate
you, it's
being,
just
yeah,
like no nonsense. I want to go in there. I want to work hard, talk to my people,
yeah,
do the socializing part that I need, but get in, get out, and get home.
exactly. And once I'm done, I like going home and do my plans in Barcelona, for example, or visit the
Mm-hmm.
city,
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Mhm,
No,
mhm.
because there's a massive change transformation that's happened since COVID. I mean, you have to imagine that. Your generation is probably one of the first generations that's had this flexible working
Mm.
arrangement. You remember that the Spanish culture was always, I don't care if you're working, but you need to be at your desk for 8 hours a day.
I do.
Yeah, that's extreme as well. However, I don't
Yes.
know. I think it's also good to get into the office and be socializing and talking to people, having meetings and going for lunch together and stuff like that. I think
Yes.
it's very important.
Yes,
If
of
you,
course. When I'm at the office, I like
mm,
having the meals with them. We go
hmm
and have lunch together,
hmm
and we have a beer. So it's kind
yeah,
of our daily days, our daily
hmm
life, and it's really important not to lose it.
yeah, definitely. Okay, good. So that's one interesting thing about the difference between generations. That's true. So, but one question though, your generation, are you focused on enjoying life, having fun, or are you still interested in promotions and career development and things like that, or less focused? Do you think?
Um,
It's a good question, no?
yes. I don't know. I mean, of course, I'm interested in promotions in my work,
Yeah.
and I think you need to find your balance. And
hmm
for one person, the balance will be that they are more focused in work, and
hmm
that's okay, and you need to respect it. But
hmm
of course, it's really important to enjoy life because one
mm
day you are here, and tomorrow maybe all of us we are dead. So
Yeah.
it's important to live the present and to enjoy life. But still, if you can get a promotion and you can work hard, of course you need to do it. I mean,
Mm.
tell me someone who doesn't want to earn more money in their jobs.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I'm sure everyone here wants to earn more money, but also that's that feeling of progression. No, like
Yeah.
I have more meaning in my job now because I've taken on more responsibility, or I have more meaning in my job because more people are relying on me. I don't know. People get meaning from their life from different things, not just money. But obviously,
Mhm.
if you take on more responsibility and you get promoted, you'll earn more money. You mentioned it's important to live in the present, which is also an interesting contrast because for me, your generation are completely attached to devices and seem to not be living in the present. So would you feel that
Hmm.
you have a problem with being present and living in the now, or is it you're different from maybe your peers, or it's just that that's how you now live and interact, and that for your generation that is actually being in the present? Do you know what I mean? Do you get where I'm
Not
going
really,
there?
like that we are too attached to technologies, you mean?
No, like because a lot of people say, look, if you're spending all day on social media and looking at TikToks, you're not in the present. You're somewhere else.
Yes.
Whereas you mentioned it's important to live in the present and enjoy
Yes.
life.
Yes.
So do you feel that? I mean, that seems like a strange contrast because a lot of people complain and say, "Oh, I scare the children nowadays. They don't live in the present. They're always attached to their devices and they're not really focusing on the here and now." Is that a fair argument, or do you think that that's just the way your generation is?
Yeah, of course. I mean, technology is part of our lives. You need to adapt to it. So you need to use them. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
you are losing a really big opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to use it carefully. Of course, if you are all day scrolling on TikTok, watching TikToks, and then I mean, it's impossible living like this.
Mm.
You need to find your balance. And of course, the technology is part of our lives. So we need to use it. But in my case, enjoying life means doing some trips I want to do. So
Mm.
if next week I want to go to Amsterdam, I will do it. This
Mm-hmm.
is what I mean by enjoying life.
Mm.
But it's really difficult to lose this attachment we have with technologies right now, because everyone uses it, and I think it's kind of a drug because
Yeah.
we are addicted to it, and we cannot live without looking at our mobile phones.
Mm.
When you watch a film, do you watch it and can you watch a completely film like 1 hour and a half without looking at your phone? It's impossible.
Maybe at the cinema,
At the
but
cinema, it's the only place where you can do it.
yeah, true.
But
No, even watching a football match or something, yeah, like
yeah,
people are always glancing. Yeah, well, it's been designed that way, you know. I always say that
yes.
to my students. I'm like, guys, remember 50 years ago, people 50% of the population smoked and thought it was okay, and now 50 years later, we know that it was terribly bad for your health,
Mhm.
and maybe in 50 years time people will look back at our generation and go, do you know that everyone was addicted to their phones and it was very bad for them?
Yeah,
But
of course we know.
yeah, of course not. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's refocus back. So you're from a small city where we're both based. Obviously, you were born here. I was not. We're just outside of Barcelona. You studied an engineering degree because you thought it was the lesser of all evils, but in the end, it was quite interesting. It was
That's it.
focused on big data, which is becoming extremely relevant now, especially recently. In the past 12 months, we've seen the explosion of ChatGPT, which we can go into look at later. And then what I found also interesting was like you're actually quite entrepreneurial. So I
Mhm.
remember many years ago, you were explaining to me that you actually, how old were you when you set up your first drop shipping business?
I don't know if I was 18 years old or less.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was your motivation? I mean, all of this is obviously linked, all of this is linked to having a good level of English, which we can look at in a bit. But I mean, so you're quite entrepreneurial. Where does your entrepreneurial spirit come from? I don't think I've met that many. I mean, the idea among your generation of setting up an e-commerce business or a drop shipping business is attractive and sounds really cool.
Mhm.
But how many people really do it?
Mhm.
Not that many. So what was
Yeah.
where do you think your entrepreneurial spirit has come from?
Maybe I was born with it. I don't know.
Do you have an
But
entrepreneurial family?
no.
Yeah.
No.
Neither do
Absolutely
I.
not.
Me too. My background is non-entrepreneurial, but I do like it. So I've always wanted to have a
Mhm.
business and be in business. So, okay, good. What do you think drew you to that?
So I think my main goal with e-commerce is making money, but not
Mm-hmm.
just to have money and die with a lot of money in my
Mm-hmm.
bank account. It's about having enough money to do whatever I want. So living the
Mm-hmm.
present. And if I was saying it before, if right now I want to take a plane to Amsterdam to enjoy my whole week there, I want to go there and pay it for it and spend 5 days there in a 4 hotel stars, and just don't have to look at my mobile phone and see, okay, this costs, and start thinking about, oof, maybe I need more money because I don't want to spend that much. So basically, I want to be free and to live free. And this means like staying wherever I want. So at the place I want, whenever I want, and doing whatever I want.
That's very
And
interesting. Okay.
of course, I'm not at that point yet, but I'm working daily, and taking actions to get there at one day.
So your entrepreneurial spirit was born from a desire to have the funds to be able to do whatever you want.
I think so.
Okay, that's a good
I think
motivation.
so.
So
Yes.
it's about the opportunities afforded to you by being able to, okay, so great. So you've got these, you've started your own drop shipping on e-commerce business at 17, 18.
Yes.
And have you learned a lot? What have you learned from that experience?
Yes. I mean, you learn a lot. You learn how to treat with customers, how to be kind to them. You need to help them solving their questions. I have learned how to launch some websites, how to also launch some ads, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, also TikTok. I also learn how to manage some of my orders. So of course, the communication, I have improved my communication skills with talking to my suppliers in China. You learn a lot of stuff on your path. So of course, maybe you can just launch your dropshipping sites and have no results and lose money, but there are some skills you will never lose. So
What's the most important skill you think you've learned from launching your first dropship website?
never give up, I would say.
Never give. Oh, okay. So being tenacious and having that's a very important thing that younger generations, I feel, need to learn. Resilience,
Resilience.
Resilience. Unfortunately, our generation, meaning not the boomers, because I'm a nomad, I'm a Generation X. So there's a very interesting book though as well. It's called The Fourth Turning, which I read, and it talks about these generational cycles. And if you're into Tony Robbins as well, he does have a very interesting interview with the author on the Tony Robbins podcast. So for all of you who love listening to podcasts, that's also a great interview. But yeah, our generation, we're called the nomad generation, Generation X's, because our parents basically just ignored us. They were off finding themselves. And so we learned to be quite independent. But now, as a consequence, we are overprotecting our kids, which is your generation. Yeah, that's why I feel that your generation needs to learn more resilience, but it's actually a consequence of overprotective. We call it helicopter parenting. Yeah. Oh, careful. Oh, careful.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but my parents are in their 50s, and I also feel overprotected by them.
Yeah. It's generational.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, it's the way the cycles go. This is the whole thesis of this book, that like we go through these 4 cycles of development as in a society, and you're a victim of your generation depending on where you fall in the cycle. So your generation are the heroes generation, and you're a bit overprotected, but you're also the heroes that are going to save us from any impending doom. Okay, so coming back on path, great. So you learned resilience, and I think that's incredibly important. I mean, to learn a language, you need to be resilient. Was it, in your experience, learning English? I mean, how many years did you learn English?
So I started learning English when I was maybe 10, 12 years old. I don't remember.
At school?
Yes, at school, but also at an academy, an English academy.
Yeah, after school. Yeah.
Yes, because my parents thought it was a really important language and I had to learn it. So they decided that I would go there. So yeah. And I've been studying English for all my life, and it was like maybe 4, 5, 7 years that I was in an English academy, and then I joined your English academy, and that's when we met. And I think I studied like for 2 or 3 years in your English academy.
Yeah.
And that's all. I got my advanced certificate of English. And then I decided I
Yeah.
decided that I would quit.
So did you find it a difficult journey, or did you need resilience, or was it just putting in the effort every week and being there? I mean, what do you think is the secret for you?
So, as I told you, I was a kid when I started. So
Mm.
for me, I couldn't decide if I wanted to take my English lessons or not.
Hmm.
I had to do it, so I just did it.
Hmm.
But then along my journey, I just learned that I loved English. I still don't know why or how to explain it, but I love the
Mm.
language, and I love communicating in a language that is not my first language.
Mm.
So
Yeah, it's
it's
nice,
kind of
isn't it?
a really, yeah, nice feeling, and
Mm.
having the opportunity to meet people from the other part of the world who you have nothing in common with,
Mm.
only the language. It's kind of fascinating for me.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's great. I mean, I speak a couple of languages now, and it's great to be able to just go. I mean, obviously, English is my native language, but that's a nice feeling of being able to go anywhere
Mm.
around Spanish-speaking countries or Catalan-speaking regions, and just being able to talk to people. You feel gives you a sense of confidence, and
Yes.
yeah, it's nice as well. And you meet lots of interesting people, and
Hmm.
then and like the fact that you're not native, but you speak their language, that makes you much more interesting to them as well. So they're
Yes.
like, then you're like, wow, wow. So they really make it an extra effort to want to talk to you, which is, again, opens up lots of doors and lots more opportunities.
And they
So,
appreciate it a lot, I think.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, eventually. I mean, it takes a lot to learn a language. So when you speak someone else's language, they appreciate it. So you
Mm.
learned, yeah. So you learned English as a child. Good. You got your advanced with me. Now, was the advanced enough? I mean, what did you feel like? I mean, you have obviously, if people are listening from other countries, it's very typical in Spain that you get your first certificate, which is like a upper intermediate level of English. Then you
Mhm.
get your advanced certificate, which is an advanced level of English. And then the final certificate is your proficiency level
Mhm.
certificate. So what opportunities or what did you feel that you were well, like, getting the advanced certificate? Was that enough, or was it just the minimum to open the doors for you? What did it mean?
For me, it was a really, really big checkpoint in my life
Hmm.
because, of course, how well can you speak a language, but when you have a certificate in paper, you know
Hmm.
that you are capable of it.
Hmm.
So, of course, it's never enough because someone who learns English only to get a certificate, it makes no sense for me. If you have a certificate and you know a language, is to improve it in your daily day
Hmm.
and use it more and more and more, because otherwise, why do you learn a language? But of course, it opens a lot of doors for me. At least in my the job opportunities I was looking for, they always ask for English,
Mm.
always. So it's really important, and it opens a lot of doors for everyone.
What percentage of English are you speaking in your work time?
100%.
100%,
Yes. So
even in the
uh,
office in Barcelona.
yes, because my team is, I mean, we are an international team,
Hmm.
and right now I have only two colleagues who speak English, who speak Spanish in their like we speak Spanish to each other, but
Hmm.
only if we are alone. Of course,
Hmm.
if we are three people in a room and one of them does not speak English, does not speak Spanish, we won't speak Spanish.
Hmm.
So I would say 100% of my time I speak English in my work.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. And does it feel uncomfortable, or is it very natural for you just to cruise around speaking English to Spanish guys that speak Spanish?
No, and I'm used to it now, so it's not
Uh-huh.
uncomfortable anymore. But of
Okay.
but of course, if I need to talk to someone who's Spanish, only both of us together, alone, I will
Mm.
talk in Spanish because we will understand each other better,
Yeah, of
and
course.
it's
Yeah.
easier and it's faster.
And
So
it's natural as well. It's natural.
yeah.
It's a bit strange. Okay, so let's talk about your career then. So you've got your entrepreneurial career. You've started your e-commerce website. You've had some success with that. You've
Hmm.
learned a lot. And then at the same time, you started university.
Hmm.
Did you have any other job? Have you had part-time work or any other jobs, or have you only been self-employed?
No, when I was at university, I started working in a supermarket
Mm-hmm.
during the weekends to
Mm-hmm.
to make some money.
Good.
But it was only on the weekends. And
so working and studying, you're okay with that?
yes, I would say so. Maybe
Yeah.
only during the weekends, not
Yeah.
combining everything during the week, because if you need to study during mornings and then jumping in straight into work, maybe you will get wasted very, very fast.
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting because I remember at university, I had to study, I had to work as well because my parents said, we can support you in terms of food and accommodation, but if you want to have any money to do anything fun, you'll have to work. And I think that was beneficial to me because it helped me learn, like you said, lots of skills about, customer service. When you're young in Australia back in my day, early 2000 or late 90s or mid 90s, we just worked in bars or restaurants or McDonald's and places like that. So, but I think the experience is good because a lot of people I know now are like, no. A lot of younger, more students who I've got who are your generation, they're like, no, I can't work. I'm studying, and I don't know if that's beneficial. I think it's important to have a part-time job even when you're at university, because it's going to give you some foundation of what it's like to exist in the workplace, what it's like to have some work background and skill sets and dealing with people and et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, it can be tough, but I think it's worth it. You learn to manage your time. You learn the responsibilities of having a job and having to study at the same time. So, yeah, okay. So you worked in a supermarket. Okay. And then, because that's another challenge, I guess, younger people nowadays think to themselves, oh my God, how am I going to get a job? I've just got my degree, but I don't have much experience. So what was your career path? What happened with you? You were at university till you were 20. Then what was the next step?
So during my last year of university, I had a subject where I had to work in a real company for some, like maybe it was like 1,000 hours. And I had to choose and to pick one company to work in. And so in my case, the university provides you with a list of companies that are looking for someone like you. And you can just pick one from there and have a meeting with them, get to know each other, and maybe if you fit in their company, you can work with them for these 1,000 hours. But in my case, in that list, there were no companies that were relevant to me. So I decided to start looking for companies that I liked and job opportunities that I liked.
Good.
How? So I would recommend LinkedIn. Because there you can find a lot of job opportunities, especially to data. I'm talking about my my experience. In data, it's really important and really useful, this tool. So I started looking for job opportunities on LinkedIn, and maybe I had so during my days, I know a lot of people who are looking for a job, but then you ask them, okay, so are you applying to, how many offers are you applying to in a day? And they are applying to like 5 job offers in a week. So what I recommend you is to start applying to everything, like literally to everything. Maybe there were days when I was applying to 7 job offers in a single day.
Can I ask you one question though?
Yeah,
were
sure.
you personalizing your approach to each job opportunity, or just blanketing?
Not in my case, but it's true that if I found a really, really, really interesting job offer, I would prepare a letter for them, like something
more specific.
Yeah, more specific. But if it was like a general job offer, I would send it blank, like with my CV attached, but that's all.
Okay. So a numbers game. It was like a numbers game.
Yes. If you apply to 100 companies, you have you are more likely to get a
get an interview. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like so maybe that's something you learned from your days of marketing with Facebook ads. Like it's a numbers game. No, the more traffic, traffic you drive to your website, the more chance you have of getting a sale. No, okay, good. So you started looking for jobs through LinkedIn because the opportunities or the companies that you were assigned through the university didn't really appeal to you. And so what happened next?
So yeah, then I started having like regularly interviews with companies, like maybe once or no, two interviews per week, something like
Ah,
this.
nice.
Yeah, but it took me a lot of time. A lot of time. Yeah, maybe I had to do like 20 interviews with different companies to join Sanofi, which is
Okay.
the pharmaceutical company I'm working for now.
Okay. So, quick question though. What did you learn from doing all these interviews? Was it a good experience? I mean, it's tough, but what
Yeah,
did you
it's tough.
learn?
Sometimes you are tired and you don't want to go to the interview because you say another more. Like, um,
Yeah.
will I get the job? Probably not. But
Mm.
you just have to show up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if the meeting only takes 10 minutes and they are not interested in your role and your in you
Profile.
anymore, yeah, in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
profile, you can just bounce to another one. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from this experience is always show up and be honest as well, um, and don't make the others lose their time because it's really valuable. So
Yeah. Good.
yeah.
As an employer, I would appreciate that too.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes people are too honest, and you're like, "Really? You're telling me that? That's surprising. That's too much information." But no, I appreciate people who don't waste my time because
Yeah.
it's a tough chat. It's a really tough for companies too to find people, so they don't like to have their time wasted. They want to
Yeah,
find
because
the best candidate.
sometimes they ask, have you used this tool, this technology? Maybe you have to lie, but I prefer saying no, I haven't. But
Hmm.
I've heard about this, and it's easily for me to look for information about this, know how can I use it, and all
Hmm.
stuff. Mm, because if you lie, mm,
Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
bend the truth, no, maybe a little bit, but lying
yeah,
will
yes,
always be discovered at some point or another.
at some
I
point.
mean, I mean, to be fair though, when you're young and you're trying to get your first job, you need to bend the truth
Mhm,
a little
mhm,
bit because you've got to get your foot in the door. Because I think a
mhm,
lot of people, if they have a good attitude and they're tenacious and they want to learn and they want to impress their boss, then once they get started, that thing that they don't really know, they can learn it pretty quickly,
mhm, mhm,
unless it's really complex and way above
mhm.
their level. So, I mean, I'm not telling people to lie on their job interviews, but you can, if someone says, "Are you capable of doing this?" You can say, "Yeah, I'm capable of
Yeah,
doing
of
pretty much
course.
anything." Yeah,
Do you believe
exactly.
in yourself? Yes,
Yeah,
of
I
course I
believe
do.
exactly. I believe exactly. I believe in myself and I'll get it done. Fantastic. Okay, so when you're looking around, did you get the 1,000 hours in the same company that you're working for now?
Yes. So yeah, I joined Sanofi and
Yeah.
I did these 1,000 hours with them
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
trainee. I
Mm-hmm.
was working part-time with them, so four
Mm-hmm.
hours per day,
Yep.
and it was like 6 months, if I'm
Nice.
right.
Mm.
And then when my contract was over, I was done there.
Mm.
Suddenly, one position was open at the same team I was working with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one of my colleagues just left and joined another company, and there was one position open in the same team. So the manager at that time told me that, of course, you have been with us, you know how we work, we like you, we like how you work.
Mm-hmm.
So I will try to get you into this job position. So I
Mm-hmm.
will make my recommendation. I will recommend you, and yeah, he recommended me. I did like a short interview with them, and I joined. I joined the
Great.
company
So
as an intern, like full
an
time.
intern, full-time intern. Fantastic. So that's my next question then. Do you think you are lucky or do you think you've created your own opportunities?
So my grandfather always tell me that I have created my own opportunities because I didn't pick any of the job opportunities that the university was giving me. It
Mm-hmm.
was me who looked for my own company and my own job opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, luck is always there.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
mix of both. But it's true that if you do not take action, you won't get lucky.
Yeah, I
You
agree
know what I mean?
completely. Yeah, completely. I'm a firm believer in that luck because I feel very blessed and very lucky with many things that have
Hmm.
happened to me in my life. But at the same time, if you don't do it, if you don't get out there, those opportunities do not appear. So you have to be looking for opportunities all the time because they're
All the
there.
time.
Yeah, all the time. So yeah, do you believe? I mean, do you do anything to like improve your English every day, or are you just mainly working in English and or do you read? What things do you recommend for people who maybe are young like you, that their English is okay, but maybe they feel a bit nervous that if they're going to get a job, that it's not there yet. I mean, what would you recommend?
So, of course, I have my advanced certificate in English, but since I started learning English, I liked watching movies in the original language, like
Mm,
watching movies
mm,
in English subtitles. Of course, during my e-commerce path, I have learned a lot from free YouTube videos, also in
mm,
English, because in
mm,
USA they are more developed than us, and they are
mm,
like a really big country, of course.
mm,
So this is a stuff I'm doing on my daily day.
mm.
Right now, I'm watching some videos from a chess player who's called Anna Kramling, and
Mm.
she's English, and I like chess. I
Me
like
too.
her as
Oh,
a
nice.
person, so maybe
Yeah.
we can play after this call.
You'll kick my ass. So
No.
probably.
So
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'm
Yeah.
into chess, and I like her
Hmm.
how she explains everything because she's a
Hmm.
grandmaster,
Hmm.
and this is something I do as a hobby. So
Hmm.
if I have free time, I will watch one of her videos. Not
Hmm.
only because they are in English, but because I like chess. But of course,
Fantastic.
it helps in my English. Of
I
course, it
completely
helps.
agree. That's what I tell my students. Look, just find something you're interested in, a
Yeah,
blog, a forum, whatever, and just start conversing in English on that topic. And
yeah.
it just helps a lot to improve. I mean, if you're in forums, which sound a bit old school, but if you're on a blog or if you're in forums, I mean, I remember when I was when I first moved to Spain, I was really into um, something really nerdy, like creating digital TV with a computer so you could record it. It was before we had smart TVs. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
very nerdy. But
Hmm.
I was always in the Spanish forums and typing in Spanish. And just this fact that I had to read a lot and type, it helped me learn a lot of vocabulary and expressions and structures and things like that, because that's what I was interested in. So
Yes.
yeah,
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 exactly. That's what you are interested in. Everyone
yeah,
has its own hobbies and its own. So you only need to decide and think about what's yours.
yeah, what you're interested in. And that way it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like you're studying or
Yeah.
working. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, I'm learning while having a bit of fun. Yeah.
You're just
Okay.
learning, but in a different language than usual, but
Mm-hmm.
still learning.
Fantastic. Yes. Continuous learning is super important. So that's it. Let's talk about then what's work like then. You're on an international team. So
Hmm.
English is incredibly important. How do you go uh, how do you feel being young? You're only 23. How do you
Hmm.
feel being young, speaking English, business English, meetings? You're dealing with higher level people. Have you got any advice for maybe people your age who are like thinking, wow, like working for a multinational company? It's a bit
Hmm.
terrifying, no? Getting into meetings and
Hmm.
having to do you give presentations and things like that in English?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah. How's
Yeah,
your experience been with that?
it's good overall. I
Yeah.
mean, at the beginning, of course, I was nervous, but
Uh-huh.
now I know my team. I know who are them, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like at home. It's okay. So one thing I have to mention is that for none of my colleagues, English is their first language.
Mm.
So this is something that helps me a lot because they are not that critic with me.
Yeah.
They are more supportive, and of course, I commit mistakes. I make mistakes, but they also do. They also make
Mm.
mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as we understand each other, it's okay because it's a business. So we are not that that okay, you did something wrong in this sentence.
Yeah, yeah,
As far as we
absolutely.
understand each other
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
can work together and understand what tasks we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
then it's
That's
okay.
all good. Yeah, that's another thing I also say as well. It doesn't matter if you're doing your exam, like a certificate exam, the mistakes make a difference.
Of course.
However, in a professional context, the most important thing is can you get your message across convincingly in a persuasive manner. Most people will forgive your mistakes
Hmm.
And as long as they don't really affect or impede communication,
Hmm.
then you're going to be fine. So
Yeah.
just, and the thing is, the more you get in there and do it, the more you will like improve. So it's like if you are shy and say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that," then you're robbing yourself of opportunities to improve. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you won't be perfect on your first speech, but you need to make your first speech to then, in the future, make your 50th speech and be perfect. So you
exactly.
need to start. First, you need to start. That's the most important thing.
I agree, my friend. Okay, good. So you're using it at work, you're giving presentations, you're in meetings. Let's transition a little bit
Hmm.
to what you see, because, I mean, our generation's like, oh, yes, AI, chat GPT, it's going to change a lot. How do you see it from your perspective? I mean, you've studied big data. In the past 12 months, chat GPT has exploded onto the scene. What do you thinking? What do you think is going to happen? Let's hear it from your perspective, from someone who's only 23. What do you think will be the future?
Yeah, so I think it will be even crazier because now it's just the beginning.
Hmm.
And yeah, so you have seen, I'm sure you have experienced with ChatGPT, and you see that you are capable of doing a lot of things. So
Hmm.
I think this is just the beginning, and we need to adapt to it and learn how to use it, because otherwise we will get lost. So it's really important to know how to use it, to use it in your daily life,
Hmm.
but don't overuse it as well.
Okay, so
There are
let's go.
things
Let's
you
go
can do
deep
it
on
by
that.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So
let's get deeper on that then. So, are you using it every day?
yes, I am.
Yeah, I have actually. Commercial note. I've created my own
Yeah, it's true.
CastelSimmerscom.ai, yeah, which is
It's
our
true.
fantastic artificial intelligence tool that you can use. Yeah, so I use it every day as well. I mean, and that's what I'm trying to also teach others. It's another work tool. It's not to replace everything. It's a tool that you can use to improve your productivity, to generate content and ideas that maybe you alone would have taken a lot longer, or you probably wouldn't have even considered it. So it's a great tool to use for certain things. But yeah, when you said you need to be careful not to overuse it, what do you mean by that?
I think there are a lot of small tasks you can do by yourself that when you start using ChatGPT, you want to do everything with ChatGPT, and
Mm,
that's not good. For example, I use it to write my emails on my
mm,
company. But sometimes it's true that I could just avoid using ChatGPT and just
mm,
type the message by myself. But I
mm,
feel more comfortable giving ChatGPT a draft of the email I
mm,
want to send, a quick
mm,
draft, even with spelling mistakes, because I
mm,
just type fast. I only
mm,
want to be fast. And then I send it to ChatGPT, and instantly I get my email. I copy it and I paste it and I send it. And it's true that maybe I feel with myself that I'm starting to overuse it.
mm.
As I say in my emails, maybe there are some, yeah, maybe I could think of another example, but this is a clear one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think what you said though is interesting. You mentioned that you do write a draft first,
yes,
so
always.
you're putting in the effort.
Of
So
course, if I
yeah,
want, sorry to interrupt you, but
mm,
I use it to write my LinkedIn posts as well. But of
mm,
course, I won't say to ChatGPT, I want you to generate a LinkedIn post talking about how ChatGPT has influenced young people. No,
mm-hmm,
what I will do is go deep into it and send ChatGPT a detailed draft of what I
mm,
want to say. And
mm-hmm.
it's then when it's helpful for me.
No, I completely
Otherwise,
agree.
yeah, you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah. Well, you're using it as a tool. That's what I'm trying to, as well as explain to my students. It's another tool we can use, but you can't just give it requests to do all the work for you. I mean, you
Hmm.
need to guide it, and
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think if you use it as a tool correctly, you can learn a lot. For example, if you're studying at university and you've got a difficult exam coming up on, I don't know, maths, what were some of the topics you did? What some
Like, yeah,
difficult?
Python
Yeah.
programming.
Yeah, Python programming. I mean, you're thinking, oh my God, that's really difficult. So you create the Python programming code, and then you get ChatGPT to check it for you and indicate where you've made a mistake and explain to you why you made a mistake, that is a very effective use of ChatGPT for me. Telling ChatGPT to write you the whole Python code so that it outputs some function is not the correct use of ChatGPT. So it's about, as always, using the tool effectively. But yes, I think it's going to revolutionize a lot of things. Do you think that it's going to make it difficult for your generation or to get jobs? Is it going to take, like, everyone's worried it's going to take everyone's jobs, but do you think that's really the case, or you're not too worried about that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult one to answer. Because people have always said that. People said that in the past, like when the internet first came, you were not even born. But when the internet first came along, well, maybe you were just born. It was like, oh my God, it's gonna, people are gonna lose their jobs, and like when in the 90s, when a lot of industrial jobs went from the West out to China, people are like, oh, we're gonna lose all of our jobs. But now you look at unemployment rates in many advanced economies, and they're very low. So obviously those jobs have been replaced by other jobs. So I don't know. I just think that people get a bit hysterical when there's new technology.
I think ChatGPT won't replace jobs by itself, but it will be the people who know how to use the technology, how to use ChatGPT, who will replace other people who don't know how to use it. Do you get my point?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's like but people say that having access to this type of technology is going to make it more democratize education, because everyone will be able to ask the machine questions and get answers to questions. So even if as long as you've got an internet connection, doesn't matter if you're living in one of the poorest countries in the world, as long as you've got access to internet, you'll have access to better education, which may be the case. However, I'm concerned that, there'll be free models and then there'll be like paid models. And if you pay, you'll get a better experience and things like that. That would typically happen. So let's see. Let's see
in the future.
Yeah, let's see in the future. So you're using English at work every day. You're presenting, you're mainly talking to colleagues who are non-native, which makes it a lot easier. Have you got any other advice regarding English at work, or for your younger people, or people who are thinking, maybe who are in their mid-30s or early 30s, who are like, would like to maybe change my career? Or, I don't know. What's your best advice?
Yeah, I would say it's never too late to change your path, and it's never too late to learn something new. And something I think it's also really important is don't be shy. Because, of course, what we were talking before, you will make mistakes at the beginning. But if you don't start, you will not improve. So what's important is taking action on your daily day and making mistakes, because you learn from mistakes and you learn from experience. So don't be afraid, and don't close your doors to some big opportunity just because you are afraid, or because you feel like you don't fit there.
Yeah, great advice. No, fantastic. Because that's true. People, they have an auto protection system. So self-protecting. So I'm speaking Spanish now. A self-protection system. No, so like, they get worried that they might be rejected. So instead of doing it, they just don't. And it's like, you're never gonna have wonderful experiences and stories if you don't throw yourself out of your comfort zone. If you're very comfortable,
the comfort zone is really
if you're in your comfort zone, you're not really going to be extending or pushing yourself to do great things. So and another thing you said make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. I mean, I think the school system, unfortunately, has taught most of us that you are wrong, you made a mistake, you've lost a point, or that's wrong.
That's sad.
It is a bit, because I mean, you only learn from your mistakes. It's the only way. And another thing about learning languages, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, so get used to it. And another thing is just copy. Just copy. I always when I'm still learning, I'm always learning new expressions and vocabulary in both Catalan and Spanish. But when I hear a fixed expression or a structure that I like, I just try and memorize it, understand it, how it works in its context, and then use it and make sure
use it, and you will use it, and someone will say this is not good. But at least you will get a correction and you will get some feedback from someone who knows more than you and who
Yeah,
can help you.
great.
So
Good
don't be
advice. Yeah.
afraid of making mistakes and doing things wrong, because we all do. And
Mm.
going back to being self protective, I think
Mm.
we all of us are self
Yeah.
protective, but there's people who, even being self protective, take action, and people who do not. So it's about well, yeah,
Yeah, it's about,
yeah,
getting out of there. I mean,
you gotta, yes.
everyone's going to feel embarrassed.
Yep.
Everyone feels shy. Everyone has self-doubt, but just get out there, take the action, get on with it. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, my friend. Well, let's just have one more look at what you think about the future. Big data. I mean, you're using, your English in your job. How is that related to big data? All the code you're writing is in English? All the stuff you're analyzing is English?
Everything. Yes,
Everything.
absolutely everything.
Okay, so we've been talking mainly about your experience. We've been speaking about how you've been using English at work, the opportunities that it's opened up, and you've also given some great advice on just being a self-starter, overcoming your self-doubt and fears, and just getting stuff done. But like, what about English? Have you got any examples or experiences of English in your personal life that maybe, if you didn't know English, might not have come about? Because it's not, business is business, but being
Mhm.
doing business with people also leads to more social, less more personal experiences. So have you got any of those?
Yes, of course. So thanks to English, I've been able to learn people, not only business, but in my personal life, I've been able to learn really interesting people from all around the world that I wouldn't have met if I didn't speak English. So, and it's really good to meet people with other cultures than yours, and all this kind of stuff, because I feel like if you live in the same city for your whole life, you are just interacting with the same kind of people, only with, in my case, Catalan or Spanish people. My life would be very, very boring.
Mm,
So so yeah, it's really important for me, being able to communicate in English and meeting some friends I have, or some girls as well,
mm,
and just interacting in English, because it's really different the English you use on your company work, like in your job,
mm,
than
mm,
the English you will use in your personal life to
mm,
explain how was your weekend.
mm,
So
mm,
don't just get stuck in the English you use on your work and your work or your company, because
mm,
it's kind of basic. It will be, yes, a business vocabulary, but it will
mm,
be all the time the same. It's also important to just get with someone and meet someone who you can talk with. How was your weekend? Yes, for example, or
mm.
do
Yeah,
some sports with them and just talk about your life, not only
nice.
about company stuff.
Yeah, not about work all the time. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you're mentioning your plans for the future. You want to be you're thinking of digital nomadry or becoming a digital nomad. This is an amazing thing, no? Your generation is very lucky because you're
Yes.
like the first generation that can be nomadic in nature in terms of their work. It's a wonderful opportunity. You guys are super lucky. I mean,
Yes.
a lot of us now, it's too late. We've got kids, we're married, we've got jobs
Mm.
and businesses and house and car, the whole thing. So what's your plan then for this next stage?
So for those who don't know, I one of my 2024 goals is to travel to 12 different countries.
Wow.
So yeah,
How many have you done so far?
I think I've done like 4 or 5 so
Okay,
far.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I enjoy traveling a lot.
Yeah,
And
me
of
too.
course, I see myself traveling a lot more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go to Bali, because they say that people will usually work from there remotely, and it's a really good place. You have good weather, you have the beach, you have
Mm. Massages on the
everything.
beach. Yeah, I love
So,
Bali.
Yeah, have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there 3, 4 times. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm from Australia, so when I was younger,
Okay.
Bali is like Australia's. I don't know, like it's like as if you lived in England and you
Mhm.
flew to Spain for a holiday. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, Bali's close, but yeah, I love traveling too. It's amazing, and I think it's really important to travel when you're young, if you can.
Why?
And well, because firstly, you don't have the same requirements in terms of luxury. You don't care. So you can literally live like in Bali for 6 months and maybe spend like 2,000 euros. Whereas if you are, an adult and you've got a
Mhm.
family, you spend like 2,000 euros in a week going to, I'm going to go to a nice hotel. And the experience is much better because you're just free. You're
Yeah.
at hostels, you're meeting lots of people, you're going to parties, you're just seeing lots of crazy stuff. And it's just really relaxing and amazing. I don't know. I traveled a lot when I was young,
Mhm.
before I settled down. And I think it's just an epic experience
Mhm.
because you're not going to backpack around South America like I did for 4 months when you're married with 2 kids. It's just not going to happen. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe there are always stories of people who, take their kids on a 12-month, 1 year trip around the world, which is a fantastic thing to do if you can. But, 99% of the population is not going to do that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, getting on the trains in India with a backpack and spending time uh, traveling around the country is something I did before I got married and before I had kids, and I'd recommend that type of stuff because you're free and you can do it on a shoestring. There's an expression to do it on a shoestring. So a shoestring budget means you're budgeting for like 40 or 50
Uh,
euros a day, and you survive. And because you're on this shoestring budget, you have got less worries about having nice accommodation, which means you have to go to hostels, so you're meeting a lot of travelers, a lot of younger people, and you have a fantastic time. So yeah, definitely travel when you're young
mhm.
before you settle down, because once you settle down,
Yes.
it's going to be a lot harder.
My grandparents always say that they would have loved to travel even more, and they did travel a lot. So that's what I'm trying to do with for them.
No, great, nice.
Just
Yeah.
even more, even more.
Even more. Well, it's true that a lot of people, especially our generation and our parents' generation, so the boomers, they had this dream, or they were sold this dream, work hard. And when you retire,
Yeah.
you'll be able to travel, etc. When you're 65, most people are pretty tired. Like, it depends on how well you've looked after yourself, but a lot
Hmm.
of people when they're old, they just can't be bothered traveling around. They're not going to
Hmm.
go backpacking around South America for 4 months. They're going to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
Another kind
mean,
of traveling.
yeah, another kind of traveling. So, if you want to do the crazy, cool adventure stuff, then yeah, definitely do it when you're young. And when you're young, if you're smart, like you've been with trying to save money, make money, then you don't need that much. A lot of younger people, I think they feel that, oh, I can't afford that. It's too
Mhm.
hard. No, it's impossible. But you don't really need it. You've got time, so you can look for cheap deals. You don't care if you're staying in a 4-star, 5-star hotel or a hostel, sharing a room with 3 other people. It doesn't matter. So you have less worries in that aspect. So just
Mhm.
get out there and do it, and have a plan. Like you said, like just say, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
here for 6 months. I'm gonna need this much money. I'm gonna buy my ticket, and then I'm gonna work and save and get it done. And if you
Mhm.
have an objective, you get it done,
Yeah.
and you'll have lots of
It's yeah.
opportunities to practice your English as well.
Yeah. That's also
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, well, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, Arnau, and it's always good to see you, my friend. And I look forward to hearing more from you about your adventures abroad this year. Let's see if you make it to 12. You're already halfway
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I
places are you looking forward to going to? Bali, where else?
yeah, Bali, of course. I need to go this month to Amsterdam to a work conference, so I will go
Uh-huh.
there. It will be my second time in Amsterdam.
Nice.
And yeah, I don't know. I just organize trips from one week to another. So I'm just so spontaneous.
Oh, that's good. See, that's what you can do when you're young and
Yes.
don't have any commitments. So yeah, that's
Yes.
fine. Keep it up while you're young and you don't have the kids holding you down. Okay,
Yes.
people. Well, it's been a real pleasure as always. Thank you, Arnau, for being on the show. Not often I have guests, but we're super busy. Everyone's always busy. But thank you for making the time to come on. And yeah, good advice for not just the younger generation, but also for, I believe, anyone who has listened to the podcast. Just get out there, get onto it.
Yes, exactly.
Life's short, but it's long and it's fun, and you can do a
Yes.
lot. But you need to just overcome your worries, your fears, and your self-doubt, and just get out there and get it done.
Yes, live your life, and yeah, try
Make
to
the most
enjoy
of
it.
it.
Yes, oh, exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much, Andrew, to inviting me here in your podcast. It's a pleasure for me, even though my English is not the best.
It's not bad at all. What are you talking about? It's like I said,
Yes, of
as long as you can
course.
communicate effectively, it's all good.
Of course. Yeah, it was really good talking to you, and I hope we can keep touch in the future.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Take care.